And the first thing I want you to notice is that it has a lot of things. So in drafting or in any project, you have many options. Either you're starting from scratch or from the beginning and you have nothing, or somebody shares with you a project and you want to overview or you want to perform edits. So even before we do anything with it, I want you to bear with me so that we can learn some important things. So let's go ahead and do File, New. And you notice that when you do File, New, you have a lot of things to choose from. Okay, so if you want to have an electrical project, or if you want to have template, right? So go ahead and open AutoCAD. And if you don't have that template, don't worry. When you open AutoCAD, you'll have a blank page. So before we open the file, before we do anything else, I want to show you a couple of things that are very important. The first thing is if you do Control-1, it's going to bring a window that is very important, which is the property window. So when you have an object, such as a line or a circle or a box, many things, you want to know what the properties are. So that's Control-1 to get away and close it up. Control-1 again. Control-2 is also very important because this will take you a long way. Is where you have a lot of the templates. So if you're doing a mechanical drawing, so you can have a welding template. If you're doing HVAC or air conditioning and ventilation, electrical, etc., and many other templates from the file here. That's Control-2. To close it up, you do Control-2, or simply come to close. And so on and so forth. There's Control-3 as the tool palette, which is also very important because here you have a lot of the things that you'll use for being able to see different things on your drawing. So from different viewpoints, and we get to use this much later. So Control-2 is for the templates, Control-3 is for the tool palette. You can close that one too. Control-4 is for organizing your project into bins. Okay. Another thing I want you to know is that depending on the installation or the version, or if you have something going on with your installation, a lot of times when you click here and you say open, this window doesn't come up. So if that happens, you have to type dialog file dialog. So you type file dialog and it's going to show you right now you have one selected. So number 1 means that when you open file and export and all those things, it's going to bring a window or a box. If you type 0, now everything's going to be through the command window. And if you're using a computer from some other engineer or some other drafter, this could be the case. Because if you do file open, for instance, now you don't have the window. Now you have to do everything through the root and the command line. I'm telling you this because AutoCAD is one software that has a lot of flexibility, so that either you use your mouse like any other software like SolidWorks or ProEngineer, but also gives you the chance to use commands. So the truth is that AutoCAD is designed to be used with your left hand on the keyboard and your right hand on the mouse, so that you can type things on the command line, or you can click and do parts of the design. Alright, so if you do want to have the box, which is much more comfortable, you go to File, and it's going to be File Dialog, Enter, and instead of a 0, you want number 1. So now when you, let's see, when you go to File, Open, there you go, you go back to your file dialog box. Okay, so let's back to the drawing that we have on lecture 2, and there are a few things that we have to look at. So the first thing is that we have a white background, and that's because we're in the layout mode. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. So if you notice, even before we're able to do anything about, or to learn anything about the drawing, there's a bunch of options that we have here. So let's talk about those very quickly, even though you probably already know something about them. So very quickly we can learn about the application bar. This is when you export, when you open, when you save. This is very intuitive, but also you have drawing utilities where you're going to customize your setup, your user account. Okay. The other thing is the ribbon and panels. So this is probably going to have something different, but it's okay. I want you to know that this window right here is very important, because a lot of times people think that they broke the software, but it's not the case. You simply click here and it will change the layout of your thing until you feel comfortable with the layout. So obviously in Home you have all the objects, all the options to create your objects, to draw, and you can create your solids from a surface. So the workflow is simply creating a point, then a line or a curve, then creating the surface, and a bunch of surfaces will give you a solid. Solids are extremely important for engineering purposes, for engineering objectives. That's how you analyze the stresses, the strains. That's how you are able to perform injection molding simulations. Surfaces are very important because that's how you determine if you're able to machine them. Mesh is going to be for one of the options that you have. If you have a bunch of points in space, a cloud, you can create a surface from them by meshing them. Visualize in case you want to render. Parametric, as you know, AutoCAD is parametric, so you can create constants and parameters and functions to make your drawing more versatile, and so on and so forth. So we talked about layout a little bit, so let's talk about that in more detail. And that's the first thing we need to learn about our drawing, because we have a brand new drawing, but we have no idea what to expect. If we can print it, if we can save it as something else, as we can export it. So if somebody gives you a drawing, the first thing you have to do is analyze what can we do with it. So this view is called the model view, which you can click here or simply wait until you get the option to show your layout view or your model view.